Morning to you and welcome into Fox 10 Midday on this Monday. We hope you had a wonderful Easter holiday weekend. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell.
I'm meteorologist Nicholas Herboso. It has been a drearier morning, I guess.
And a little cooler.
Yes.
As well, significantly, actually.
So what has happened is we had that rain on Easter. You probably had some rain showers.
Absolutely.
This was a cold front.
Yeah.
And it passed through. Now it's sitting over the Gulf, but it's we're under the influence of the clouds still. And believe it or not, there have been some rain showers at the beach. So we have a lot to talk about, though, in the forecast. Generally, it's a quiet forecast when it comes to like rain and stuff, but there are some weather impacts that we still have to talk about. First of all, you're looking at the current satellite radar picture with the current conditions overlaid, and you have 57 degrees in Mobile and Evergreen, 57 in Pensacola. Everybody is cloudy. All these little sunny icons that you see, that's just because the clouds are really up high and the sensors can't get to the clouds to actually read it. But see some folks even reporting rain. Look at Tallahassee, 57 degrees and rain, so a cool rain happening there. Looking through the futurecast here, this is our graph model showing the clouds sticking around through the evening time. Overnight tonight, though, we see a clearing of the cloud cover. So you can see here at 5 a.m. on Tuesday, sunshine returns to the Fox 10 viewing area. It is going to be a cool morning on Tuesday morning with temperatures all the way down to the 40s for some locations. Then the wind starts to change. It comes more out of the northeast, then eventually becomes easterly. And by Wednesday, we have a few more clouds around, a little disturbance rolling through. Easterly winds, the surf gets highly churned up, and in this easterly flow, we could even see a coastal rain shower or two on Wednesday. You can see that in the high-resolution models reflected there. So, coastal rain shower cannot be ruled out. Otherwise, this is a dry forecast. This is 7 days out with the GFS forecast model for rainfall. Barely anything. And that's a problem because we have severe drought going on right now. The severe drought in the orange color here for most of the area. So a dry forecast, a generally quiet forecast, cool for now, but warming up by tomorrow. And then that easterly wind causing dangerous rip currents later on this week. We have a high rip current risk. This is your storm tracker alert. This is going to be a problem for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. A lot of folks can try to get down to the beach. I'll have another look at the beach forecast models, and so much more coming up.
All right, Nick, thank you. Topping our headlines on this Monday, we now know the name of the suspect arrested in connection to a crash on Dauphin Island. Jail records show that 44-year-old Paul Bird Jr. is charged with 2 counts of second-degree assault and 1 count of driving under the influence. The crash happened on Saturday night. Police say it involved a vehicle and a golf cart in the 2600 block of Bienville Boulevard. Officers arrived within minutes and found the damaged 6-seat golf cart that had been struck from behind by a pickup truck. We're told 2 victims suffered serious injuries and were taken to local trauma centers. And 2 young children suffering minor injuries were taken to a local hospital as a precaution. This is an active and ongoing investigation this morning. If you have any information, call Dauphin Island Police. Well, meanwhile, the Mobile Fire Rescue Department investigating what led to a house fire on Bromley Place. This happened on Sunday afternoon. Mobile Fire Rescue tells us no one was in the house at the time and there were no reported injuries. Fox 10 News caught up with Jeremy Williams, who saw the blaze himself.
We were driving on Government right here, and then basically we seen a big old black clouds of smoke coming up, and we just rushed over here as fast as we can to see what was going on, try to, you feel me, make sure nobody wasn't hurt or anything like that.
And still no word yet on the cause of the blaze. When we get more information, we will update you both on air and online at fox10tv.com. Also happening today, the Darius Lucky Jr. capital murder trial is expected to continue. Lucky is one of 5 people charged in the 2023 shooting death of 9-year-old Kaylee Knight. Kaylee was sleeping on the couch in her home on Red Drive when a bullet came through the home and struck her in the head. Prosecutors say the shooting was an act of revenge and that the group was actually targeting Kaylee's older brother over a stolen gun. Jurors on Friday heard testimony from the lead detective and saw the results of the autopsy. Prosecutors are expected to rest the case today. Closing arguments could take place either late today or tomorrow morning. We will keep you updated on this case. Well, 53-year-old Mobile resident Lizzie Mae Coley set to be in court today for a bond hearing. She now faces charges of first-degree assault as well as shooting into an occupied building or vehicle. Right now, we are working to get more information about her arrest. When we learn more, we will pass it along to you on air and online. In the meantime, 26-year-old Danny Fohl from Chunchula is also due in court today for his bond hearing. Fohl faces multiple charges, including first-degree assault, first-degree domestic violence, attempting to elude police, and a harassment charge. Fohl currently remains in Mobile County Metro Jail as we speak. And Israel continues to hit Iran hard, reportedly striking a major petrochemical plant and killing the head of intelligence for Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Meanwhile, the U.S. is still pursuing a diplomatic solution, but President Trump warns U.S. attacks will escalate if a deal is not reached. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
Kids may be hunting for Easter eggs, but it's not all fun and games at the White House today. President Trump seems to be hunting for a way out of Iran as he pressures the regime for a peace deal that reopens the Strait of Hormuz.
They don't want to cry, as the expression goes, uncle, but they will.
If a deal isn't made, President Trump says tomorrow U.S. forces will target Iran's power plants and bridges, warning there will be nothing like it. Open the expletive strait, you crazy expletive, or you'll be living in hell.
That deadline that President Trump has given is very serious, and the regime in Tehran better take it as such.
But the U.S. and Iran reportedly have a new proposal in hand. It was put together by Egypt, Pakistan, and Turkey, and according to the Associated Press, it includes an immediate 45-day ceasefire and an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
They're negotiating now, and they've made a very significant step. We'll see what happens.
I think most Americans should hope that this deal does come to fruition, assuming the United States completely accomplishes our war objectives.
Most Republicans support the U.S. military finishing the job if diplomacy fails, while Democrats think the war has been a strategic failure.
Now, Iran recognizes that, in fact, their control over the strait is even more strategically vital to them than the development of a nuclear weapon.
Over the weekend, U.S. Special Forces rescued the second airman who was shot down over Iran. President Trump will likely share details of that mission during a White House press conference with members of the military this afternoon. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And meanwhile, excavation crews plowed through a tangle of rubble in a southern Beirut neighborhood in Lebanon. This after a series of intense Israeli strikes killing more than a dozen people. The strikes coming without warning. In southern Beirut, 5 were killed and more than 50 others wounded, including 8 children, according to Lebanon's health ministry. Meanwhile, Hezbollah says it responded with artillery, rockets, and drones targeting Israeli troops gathering near the border. The cross-border violence comes as continued escalation and ongoing exchanges of fire continue along the Lebanon-Israel border. In fact, more than 1,400 people have been killed in Lebanon and more than 1 million displaced. Well, Steve Bannon has won a Supreme Court order that could lead to his contempt of Congress conviction being thrown out. The justices vacated a lower court ruling that had upheld his conviction for refusing to comply with a House subpoena in the January 6th investigation. Bannon, a longtime ally of former President Donald Trump and one-time White House chief strategist, has already served a 4-month prison sentence in that case. So any dismissal would be largely symbolic. In a separate New York case, he previously pleaded guilty to defrauding donors in a private border wall fundraising campaign as part of a deal to avoid that jail time. And Congress is still on recess this week, and that means there is little lawmakers can do to try to align with the Senate's Homeland Security bill so the agency can finally be fully funded. House Speaker Mike Johnson has signed on to the plan after pressure from President Trump, but he's dealing with backlash from conservatives. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has the latest from Washington.
Both houses of Congress remain in recess more than a week after they passed conflicting bills to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Now, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is calling for the House to get back to work.
The House of Representatives, under the leadership of Speaker Johnson, and Republicans need to bring us back into session so we can actually reopen the Department of Homeland Security.
But House Republicans are still at odds over the Senate's two-track funding plan, which strips out funding for ICE and CBP into a separate bill. Conservatives still won't back that option, so Republican leaders are eyeing another plan, a budget reconciliation bill to fund the entire department all at once. President Trump set a deadline of June 1st for Congress to send him that bill.
The Senate sent us a bad bill. We really need reconciliation to start first.
Democrats are calling that idea a non-starter, saying that they need to see real reform before they back more funding for ICE.
I believe in border security. I believe in interior immigration enforcement. I also don't think that masks and guns mix very well.
Meanwhile, those long lines at airports are starting to ease after TSA workers got retroactive pay last week. And the White House is now proposing more airports privatize TSA security next year as the partisan gridlock continues.
There are conversations continually going back and forth on how to do this, but I can't pretend that we're there.
Right now, 20 airports in the U.S. have private security checkpoints under contracts that are supervised by the TSA. In Washington, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
And listen to this, a shocking find during an Easter egg hunt in Long Beach, California. Human remains were discovered just yesterday. It appears a skull was found near brightly colored Easter eggs on a trail. Officials did not say how long the remains may have been in that area, and no arrests have been made yet in connection to this case, and an investigation is still ongoing.
Artemis 2 prepares for its historic lunar flyby. I'm Jonathan Seri at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. I'll have details coming up.
And in your forecast, the cat nap forecast here on this gloomy Monday. If you're planning on taking a nap this afternoon, looks like a good day to do so. Just bundle up. Temperatures in the 60s, a little cooler out there. This is Grayson. By the way, if you want to get your cat submitted and put on the cat nap forecast, please do so by sending in your photos to us on social media or on the Fox 10 weather app. We'll have more coming up.
Welcome back. Today, Artemis 2 is making history. The 4 astronauts on board will travel farther from Earth than any human has ever done before during an hours-long flyby of the moon's far side. Fox News senior correspondent Jonathan Seri has more.
We are now falling to the moon rather than rising away from Earth. It is an amazing milestone.
Artemis 2 entering lunar space overnight, where the moon's gravity becomes stronger than Earth's. It's the last major transition before the 4 astronauts loop around the moon's far side, taking humans deeper into space than ever before.
They're going to be looking for the first time at parts of the moon that human eyes have never seen before.
During the historic flyby, the Orion spacecraft will come within 4,000 miles of the moon's surface at closest approach. NASA says the astronauts will split into pairs and take turns capturing lunar views with cameras.
They're going to be looking directly for places in the future where we can land, maybe where we can build a moon base.
The crew will also experience a total solar eclipse and at one point lose all communication with Earth for approximately 40 minutes before emerging on the other side.
They'll also be able to look for potential Earth shine effects, which is literally the illuminated Earth shedding glow onto the near side of the moon.
Days into the trip, NASA officials say Orion is performing well, though it continues to experience issues with its zero-gravity toilet.
We are still trying to figure out the wastewater vent line problem. It's kind of a complex engineering issue when you expose a liquid to vacuum.
After it completes its flyby, Artemis 2 will begin the journey back to Earth. At the Johnson Space Center, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Look down by Wolf Bay. It's the Osprey camera. Always good to check in on this. One thing that I've noticed, we looked at this earlier today too, you can see a little bit of wind out there. It was a little stronger earlier, but yes, northerly wind is kind of the thing that we're tracking today. Also the gloomier skies. It is a gray day on the Gulf Coast, but a cool view always from those cameras. All right. Weather headlines for today, mostly cloudy, slightly cooler. slightly, actually, for some folks saying substantially cooler, with temperatures in the 50s this morning. And tomorrow morning, we will actually get into the 40s in plenty of locations. So it is going to be quite cool. Now, the week ahead is quiet with no major systems coming through, some small rain chances near the coast. And also for the coast, a big concern, rip currents happening later this week. Forecast highs this afternoon in the 60s, 67 degrees in Grove Hill and in Evergreen, 66 in Monroeville, 67 in Mobile, and 64 in Pensacola. Overnight tonight, skies will clear. We'll go from mainly cloudy to mainly clear with temperatures falling into the 40s, 46 degrees in Grove Hill, Monroeville, 47 in Evergreen, 50 in Mobile, 53 in Gulf Shores and Pensacola. Here's the futurecast, and you can see how this works. Any coastal showers will be ending and moving out late this afternoon. Then slowly the clouds try to get cleared out. You have to wait until around 9 or 10 p.m. to finally see the back of the clearing line here. And then they clear out fully. And then we led to a mostly sunny day here on our Tuesday. Winds also gusting up today around 20 miles per hour earlier. Now as we head into the afternoon, winds around 20 to 15 miles per hour for those gusts. Beach forecast today. It is a little gusty, but the rip current risk is low because of that wind direction and the possibility of a couple showers still lingering over the next couple of hours here down at the beach. Low risk of rip currents. Eventually, though, the wind direction will shift and that will churn up the surf a lot more. High risk of rip currents Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is going to be a big issue because the weather Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be quite nice. You'll have partly cloudy skies, maybe a slight chance of a rain shower Wednesday or Thursday, but I think a lot of people are going to want to be down there because it is going to be warm. And we're going to see extremely rough surf with very high wave heights. So I would recommend not getting in the water when we get to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And of course, stay with us. We'll keep you updated on the rip current situation down at the beach. Here's that coastal shower chance on Wednesday and Thursday. It's only around 20%, and we pretty much are dry for the rest of the period here. We may be dry for the next week and a half for some locations, maybe 2 weeks out, because we're not seeing any big systems coming our way, and the extreme and severe drought has, of course, expanded. Next time this thing gets an update will be on Thursday, and we'll be interested to see what it looks like, because despite the rainfall that we had this weekend, I don't think it'll be enough to top what's happening here in our drought monitor. It is going to be quite the dry period. So tomorrow morning, I mentioned, is quite cool, 50s with 40s in our inland spots. Then you see the gradual warming trend, and it is gradual and it is steady all the way over the next 10 plus days. Warming trend in the afternoon continues as well. A little bump on Tuesday, and then it's off to the races up into the 80s. How about going beyond 10 days? This is all the way out to April 20th. Warmer than average temperatures seem very likely. So we're settling into a pattern that's going to be drier, warmer, and kind of feeling a little rainless. And we need the rain. There's that 7-day outlook again. You can see the temperatures getting into the 80s by this weekend.
All right, Nick, thank you. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump hosting the annual White House Easter egg roll. The president welcoming families to the White House.
So today is a very special day. It's a day where we celebrate Jesus. It's a day where we celebrate religion. And it's an honor to be the President of the United States. Our country is doing so well, like it has never done before. You'll see that very shortly. And things that we've done have not been done before.
This year, patriotic themes were added to the annual egg roll to honor the 250th birthday of the United States. The tradition dates all the way back to 1878, when the first White House Easter egg roll was held during the presidency of Rutherford B. Hayes. 11:21 now on your Monday. Straight ahead, finding care for a loved one can be a daunting task. Some facilities advertise a boutique hotel, but what exactly does that mean is coming up in today's Did You Know? You're watching Fox 10 Midday on this Monday.
This costed me my childhood.
I'm a part of a big project, and it feels amazing.
Honestly, it saved my life.
Welcome back. Every day, families are making decisions about assisted living care for their loved ones. Some facilities advertise a boutique hotel fee with more personalized care, which sounds pretty great, but what exactly does that mean? Susan Campbell takes a look at this growing trend.
Boutique-style homes are typically really small, 10 residents or less. Some are really high-end with concierge services and tailored activities like art classes and music performances. Others are more low-key, with a focus on family-style meals and comfort.
Really nice and peaceful.
Nestled in a neighborhood in Scottsdale, this home is a new chapter for several seniors.
Good.
There are in-home group exercises and fresh-baked cookies on demand.
But you make cookies for people here. Yes, yes. Feels like home. Yes, that's the way we want it to feel like home. This is their home.
Wanda Fortin created New Vision's assisted living when she saw a need to care for people like her uncle, who lives here. It's licensed for 10 people. Rooms are private with comfortable furniture and 2 live-in employees ready to help 24/7. She calls it boutique assisted living.
Do you think this is the future of assisted living? Yes. Yes. Why? Because it's more personalized.
It's a marketing term.
David Vopel is the CEO of the Arizona Healthcare Association. He says boutique or smaller scale assisted living homes can be great options.
A group home might specialize in memory care. A center, 11 Better More, might specialize in memory care, but also offer more activities. A group home might center on certain activities. It's based on more personalized services. So it depends on what you need.
Is one better?
Oh, there are some that are better, some that are worse. Yeah, you have to do your research. So when you're looking at assisted living, the first thing that's always helpful is how are you going to pay for it?
Then figure out the location that works best for you and your family and the services you need.
The biggest thing is you got to go take a visit. You got to go pay a visit. You have to go check them out. And you have to look and see what the culture's like.
Ask about staffing, check the safety of the building, and talk to the people who live there.
What's the cost difference for something like this that is more personalized and on such a smaller scale?
Starts at $5,500, but we also work with people that can't afford it. I think that's important too. For me, it's more about the service than the dollars.
What do the neighbors think of having an assisted living home in their cul-de-sac?
Oh, they're fine with it. One of the ladies across the street, and she said, you know what? I already told my children, when I get sick or I get dementia or something, like all they have to do is roll me right across the street.
You can also check inspection reports for licensed assisted living facilities through your state. I'm Susan Campbell.
Coming up on Fox 10 midday, gas prices surging past $4 a gallon on average now. That story and more in your business news. Plus, what if your morning coffee could help protect your brain? We'll show you the new study that links just a few cups of coffee or tea a day to lower a risk of dementia and what doctors think caffeine is really doing inside your brain. But first, let's check in with Nick outside.
Yeah, outside it is looking a little gloomy today because we had the cloud cover around. Have had some showers near the coast. It rained earlier in Jacksonville, Mississippi, very early this morning. Looking elsewhere across the area, how about a nice view from the Admiral camera? Here's your planner of the next few hours. Temperatures getting into the 60s with clouds continuing. More forecasts coming up.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 Midday.
Welcome back in. It's time now for your Monday half-hour headlines. Today, the Gulf Shores City Council will consider improvements to the Gulf Shores Sportsplex. Under the proposed resolution, the Gulf Shores City Schools would be able to make improvements to the city-owned facility. Those improvements include constructing 2 9,000-square-foot field houses for both the baseball and softball, and it would include locker rooms, coaches' offices, laundry areas, and even batting cages. The other proposed improvement involves adding 2,100 square foot locker rooms to the existing football field house for the high school soccer teams and relocating the existing visitor dugouts. Funding would come from the school system through various sources. Stay with Fox 10 News for updates on this story. And then the Auburn Tigers beating Tulsa 92-86 to win the NIT championship. Auburn started fast, leading by as many as 21 early in the second half. The Golden Hurricanes would fight back, though, chipping away at the lead and eventually finding themselves up by 5 with only a minute to go. Thanks to some clutch free throws and a three-pointer by Kevin Overton with just 9 seconds left, the game entered overtime. Auburn then outscored Tulsa in the extra period 14-8 and brought the university its first ever NIT championship. The Tigers finished 22-16 in Stephen Pearl's first season on the Plains. And finally, the stage is set in Indianapolis. UConn and Michigan will compete for the NCAA men's basketball title tonight. The Huskies beat Illinois to advance while the Wolverines dominated Arizona. This marks the first meeting between UConn and Michigan in the NCAA tournament. UConn is trying to win 3 championships in 4 seasons. For Michigan, it's a chance to end a Big Ten title drought that dates back more than 2 decades. In the business world today, gas prices continue to climb. Paramount gets some backing in its takeover of Warner Brothers. The man who leads the world's largest bank warns of higher inflation and hangover-free holidays. Here's Fox's CJ Papa.
Gas is now averaging $4.11 a gallon. That's up $1 since the conflict in the Middle East began. And there's even more pain for those drivers who use diesel. It's just 20 cents shy of its all-time high. The Wall Street Journal reports Paramount Skydance has received signed equity commitments of nearly $24 billion from 3 sovereign wealth funds to help back its takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery. In February, Paramount announced its deal to buy Warner for $81 billion. The deal is pending regulatory review in Europe. J.P. Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon warning of higher inflation and interest rates from the Iran conflict. Dimon writing, there is a risk of more oil and commodity price shocks in the months ahead, which could lead to prolonged inflation and ultimately higher interest rates. And Gen Z is embracing the growing trend of sober tourism. More than half of Gen Z says they're becoming more interested in alcohol-free travel, while some Gen Zers say they're ditching alcohol on getaways to prioritize physical health and mental wellness, in addition to saving money. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Most states are extending the window for RSV immunizations. Shots for infants and toddlers will now be available through the end of April as the virus continues to linger later than usual. RSV typically follows a fall to spring pattern, with immunizations recommended through the end of March, but this season has shifted. Federal data shows positivity rates are significantly higher than this time last year. The extension means providers can keep offering protection for a longer time period. Experts say that's critical, as RSV remains the leading cause of infant hospitalization. Well, a new study suggests your daily coffee or tea could actually help protect your brain. Listen to this. Researchers tracked more than 130,000 people and found those who drank 2 to 3 cups of caffeinated coffee a day had a lower risk of dementia. Similar results showed up for people who drank 1 to 2 cups of caffeinated tea. A Cleveland Clinic neurologist not involved in the study says the benefit seems to come from caffeine itself, which may slow buildup of a toxic protein linked to Alzheimer's. The full study appears in the Journal of the American Medical Association. And meanwhile, a new study shows fewer pregnant women in emergency rooms have been taking acetaminophen. That's the generic name for Tylenol. The research in the journal The Lancet follows President Donald Trump's questionable claim it's linked to autism. Most experts see no such connection. Major medical associations say acetaminophen is the safest over-the-counter pain and fever reliever during pregnancy.
Live from the Fairhope Pier right now, that northerly wind still blowing there in the picture. You see the cloud cover. It is a little bit of a gloomier look. However, tomorrow we see sunshine and warmer temperatures, and a warming trend continues through the week. So let's break this down. 59 degrees right now in D'Iberville, Mississippi, 58 in Mobile. The views from the Eastern Shore Toyota Camera Network. How about the flag blowing in the wind at Battleship Memorial Park, too? So, yeah, there is some wind out there today. Here's the Pensacola planner over the next 10 hours. See that wind out of the northeast around 10 with higher gusts. Temperatures in the 60s. Can't rule out an isolated sprinkle over the next hour or so. In Mobile, we're dry, but you can see those temperatures in the 60s, 65 degrees there. Northeast wind continues around 10 miles per hour with higher gusts. If if you have not been following us on social media, we were posting all week about the rain. Easter was a busy day for us, posting about the rain showers that we have. And then also we've been posting about the week ahead, which seems to be a very dry one. That's going to lead to some drought issues. So if you have not reached out to us or looked at us on Facebook here, look up our profiles and be sure to give us a follow. Highly recommend it. Also, Fox 10 Gulfstream app is also another great tool to use on your Roku TV. We'll talk more about that a little later, but just kind of a reminder, we have plenty of things that you can use to stay updated with us. Here are our big 3 weather headlines. Cloudy and cooler today with a quiet week ahead, as I mentioned, but this one in red, it's in red because it's important. Rough surf later this week. This is a serious thing as we're going to have dangerous rip currents at the beaches, expecting surf to climb to 5-6+ feet in some locations as we go through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's going to be a problem. So here it is. Beach forecast next 3 days. Low risk of rip currents, surf around 2 feet for Monday today. 3 to 4 feet on Tuesday, warmer day with mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the upper 70s at the beach. Then 75 on Wednesday. Can't rule out an isolated sprinkle, around 20% rain chance there. But the surf 4 to 6 feet. That is very, very high. That is going to continue into the weekend. If you have plans late this week into the weekend to be down at the beach, water is not going to be an option. The sand's going to be great. It's going to feel nice out there. You're going to have a wind, which is nice, but it is going to be very, very rough in the water. Those waves are going to be breaking. All right, today's forecast this afternoon, 67 in Calvert, 67 in Mobile, 64 Pensacola, Navarre, 65 in Destin. Tomorrow, completely different. Sunny skies, warm temperatures, around 80 degrees in Calvert and Chatham and Leakesville, 77 in Mobile and in Fairhope, 78 in Pensacola. So this is a much warmer feel there with the sunshine. Then beyond that, we have a little bump and then 75 on Wednesday, but then we're back up near 80 degrees by the end of the weekend. This weekend, Friday at 80 degrees, it is going to be a warmer one there. Rainfall over the next 7 days. Forget about it. It's dry. It's a very dry forecast here. Only possibility of some coastal showers here. 7-day outlook is not favorable in the rain department. Only a couple coastal showers Wednesday and Thursday. Otherwise, temperatures getting on a steady warming trend here into the 80s. Look at the 10-day outlook. It is just stair-stepping up as you go day by day with those temperatures into the 80s, middle 80s by the middle of next week. Ashley?
All right, thanks, Nick. Listen, if you have not downloaded the Fox 10 Gulfstream TV app, now is a great time to do so. And you're simply missing out because I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is truly your one-stop shop for all things Fox 10 news and weather. Not only news, we have other options as well. We really have so much here. So let's go and take a quick tour of the Fox 10 Gulfstream here. We're on our news page, so we obviously have our latest local headlines. Scroll down, you'll find our national news headlines, other segments like Fugitive Files, Daily.com, and so much more. Scrolling over is our in-depth segment with our morning anchor Sarah Walsh. She goes live at 9 a.m. every single day and again goes in depth for maybe national or local stories that are happening. Her most recent one, historic moon flights connections to Alabama in light of our recent Artemis II NASA mission. A great segment. I highly recommend you check it out. Here's our Studio 10 tab, one of my personal favorites here, the Unwritten Legends of the Gulf Coast, where we take a look at just some history that has happened here on the Gulf Coast and many, many stories I think that you'll find incredibly interesting. We have our podcasts. We have great documentaries, our We the People segments that honor the 250th anniversary of America. And again, so much more. It's very easy to download. I also want to bring in Nick now to talk about the weather side of it because that's extremely helpful as well.
Yeah, and there are some great features on the weather side of this app as well. What you do is you go to the weather section here, and we'll hop over. You have 2 tabs on the weather section. You can watch your full weather forecast, just the normal full forecast like the one I just did, on the app at any time. So when you start your day on the TV, just pull it up. Also, our next weather section is a really useful tool. There's a whole bunch of interesting different things in there, but so much to see here on this app. There's so many tabs. You know what I like this.
Yeah.
You ever explored this one before?
I actually have a little bit. I just started.
So
this
is the Fox 10 News Vault. These are archives from news segments from a long time ago.
These are fun. These are really fun.
A lot of cool stuff on here. There's so much content. Be sure to download the Fox 10 Gulfstream app on your Roku, Apple TV, all of the smart TVs.
People also ask too, you don't have to be necessarily in our viewing area to have this. You can watch any newscast anytime. Super helpful tool. Be sure to download it in this next commercial break as well. This is what's coming up though here on Fox 10 Midday. So straight ahead, a blind man creates Legos that everyone can enjoy. You'll hear the incredible story next in your Midday Talkers after this. Welcome back. A Massachusetts man wants to make Legos accessible for everyone, even those who are blind.
Matthew Schifrin was born blind and said building a Lego set as a blind person is practically impossible because Lego instructions are in pictures.
But that changed when he was given a Braille instructions kit for a Lego set and was inspired to help others like himself build Legos for themselves.
Schifrin now works with a team of about 40 people to create instructions for Lego sets that include anywhere from 35 to over 40,000 Lego pieces.
So that all Lego lovers, including the visually impaired, can experience building independently. Nick, this is incredible.
Did you use Legos a lot when you were a kid?
I did. I played with the girl version, the Lego Friends. Absolutely. I loved some Legos. Did you? Wait, we talked about this. You said you weren't a big Lego person.
I never really did it. I would have been.
Yeah.
But I just didn't get them. Like we didn't go buy them. I didn't seek them out. But Mega Bloks?
Yeah. You did say you're a big Mega Bloks person. We also have we have a photographer here named Lauren who's phenomenal at building Legos. Yeah. She makes some really intricate creations.
There's so much cool stuff that you can do.
For any age, truthfully. Metal fabrication started as a job and turned into a passion for Kevin Stone.
He began welding buildings and bridges, but that evolved into dinosaurs, dragons, and eagles.
Wow. After he built a stainless steel gargoyle for a company rooftop, the attention brought private backers and even bigger projects.
He moved on to a 30-foot eagle, then a 40-foot eagle, then an 85-foot Chinese dragon.
Wow, big undertakings now. 25 years later, his latest creation is Gold Spar, the world's largest steel dragon. It stands 26 feet tall, 70 feet long, and weighs about 17,000 pounds.
Hand fabricated in his North Las Vegas shop, Gold Spar took 19 months to build and will be shipped to a new resort in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Incredible.
Yeah, Stone also has an owl heading to Wisconsin, a custom gate bound for California, and a Tree of Life sculpture destined for a Miami hospital. Look at that.
This is like movie prop level stuff, except the steel construction.
Oh, wow.
Prop building and stuff like this to me is so cool.
It's so interesting.
In the marching band world, we have prop builders.
Yeah.
And they're people like this that they have a really good talent for intricate stuff and the craftsmanship that goes into this kind of stuff. In this case, for theme parks and stuff.
Right.
But also I've seen it for prop building.
So detailed. I mean, look at that person on the top of you. You literally have to be on a ladder to finish these kinds of things. Really incredible pictures there. Super Mario, by the way, and his friends are back on the big screen.
Rick Damigella has a look at the voices behind the characters, introducing a new role voiced by Glenn Powell as well.
There's a huge universe out there. With a lot of galaxies.
And a lot of characters. Mario, Luigi, and their friends and nemesis are back in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, with some new voices joining for the sequel.
Where's the troubled pipe?
Chris Pratt is back as Mario and Charlie Day as Luigi.
Who is this? Yoshi.
They are joined by new voice cast member Donald Glover as Yoshi.
Toad, pack our things.
Anya Taylor-Joy returns as Princess Peach, along with Keegan-Michael Key as Toad.
Your king has returned!
On the villain side, Jack Black is back as the voice of Bowser, joined by Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr.
Princess Rosalina, you're coming with me!
New to the animated adventure is the cosmically powered character Rosalina, voiced by Brie Larson.
It's really special.
A surprise casting announcement dropped ahead of the movie's premiere when Universal revealed Glenn Powell is voicing Nintendo's Fox McCloud in the film.
Let's go!
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Yeah, that's fun. Our producer Braden just told us that he took his two little boys this weekend and they liked it.
Yeah, apparently it's good. The record-breaking, like, or the significant open for them. That's impressive in theaters. If you have plans to be outside anytime soon, we want to talk about your forecast. There's a live look outside right now. It is a little cloudy there from Dauphin Island Sea Lab. Also a little windy. A final look at the forecast, a warming trend, much more coming up.
Welcome back. A couple of bald eagles in California have welcomed 2 new chicks. The eaglets were born just in time for Easter, and it was all caught on camera. Cole Higgins has today's Take a Look at This.
Spring is a time of rebirth, and eggs symbolize just that. So when the second eaglet of a couple of bald eagles hatched on Easter Day,
for it to hatch on Easter, well, that's quite special.
Jackie and Shadow are the proud parents of the pair of chicks. The beloved Big Bear Valley bald eagles are basically the stars of their own reality show. Their nest is live streamed 24/7. And soon their fans, or rather local Big Bear third graders, will pick the names for the couple's eaglets, as has been tradition since 2014.
It's very fun, and that's what we'll be watching to see is just they get up and they eat and they fall over and they're cute and they poop.
Speaking of, fecal matter, Houston, we have a bathroom problem. It's day 6 of the Artemis 2 mission, and for the last 3 days, the crew's 16.5-foot wide Orion capsule has...
It's not a toilet issue per se. It's an issue with dumping the waste out of the toilet.
Mission controllers on Earth continue to troubleshoot the persistent problems along with the help of the astronauts hurtling through space.
I'm the space plumber. I'm proud to call myself the space plumber. I like to say that it is probably the most important piece of equipment on board.
You could even say it's the #1 astronaut appliance. For Take a Look at This, I'm Cole Higgins.
Yeah, just a really incredible mission to follow over the past few days.
Space.
I love it.
Everybody's talking about it. All right, let's talk about outside real quick. Get you a look at the forecast. Right now at Orange Beach, mostly cloudy conditions. We do have a couple showers that have been near the coast. Here's your planner over the next 5 hours. Temperatures getting up into the 60s. It's going to be 60s area-wide today. Much cooler than it has been. And eventually we'll see the sunshine again, but we have to wait. Just a little bit. Overnight tonight, we see clearer skies as the clouds move out. Temperatures in the 40s, 45 degrees in Grove Hill, 50 in Mobile, 53 Gulf Shores in Pensacola, 52 Navarre, 56 in Destin. Then tomorrow, so as I mentioned, the skies clear overnight tonight, and then you're going to have sunshine tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to be substantially warmer. We're going to notice temperatures way up in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees, 80 in Calvert, Chatham, 80 in Leakesville, 79 Gulf Shores, 78 in Pensacola. But with the warmer temperatures, they'd be tempted to go down to the beach. Tomorrow, moderate risk of rip currents. The surf is going to be coming up. And by late tomorrow and into Wednesday, a high risk of rip currents. And this is our big issue here. We're going to have waves of over 5 feet at the beach this week. It is going to be partly sunny and fantastic Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're going to want to go down to the beach, but it is going to be extremely rough. So pay attention to those beach flags. We already had beach rescues this weekend. I know we did because I heard it from lifeguards, and that's been discussion in the National Weather Service talking about this. And the message was amplify this message of rip currents. We're going to have more posts about this on social media. So if you have not, check out our names on social media. Give us a follow. Here's your 7-day forecast. Very nice to end this week. It's a quiet forecast, but the rough surf at the rip current, rough rip current risk that is going to be happening down at the coast. It's going to be something to really keep in mind this weekend. Rough surf continues. Temperatures in the 80s, 82 degrees there for Saturday and Sunday. And then looking beyond that, it does look like, I was looking out 2 weeks from now. It looks like it's going to stay a mainly dry forecast.
All right, bottom line, be careful, especially at the beaches. Before we wrap up today, President Trump is expected to hold a news conference in just a few minutes. Sources say it will be about the conflict in Iran. We will cut in when the president begins that news conference, and we will stream it. It's expected to happen at noon here in a few minutes, so be sure to download the Fox 10 Gulfstream TV app because that address will be happening there as well. Thank you for watching Fox 10 Midday. We will see you on Fox 10 Live at 3.